Hi, I'm in Warwick and I'm with Southern Downs Mayor Tracy Dobie, and I really wanted to celebrate a few things at this because we know the drought's on and it's really hitting Warwick hard, but I'd like you to talk about some of the things you've done proactively, because that's the message you want to take away. You guys have been working for a couple of years getting ready for this.
That's right, Senator. So the Southern Downs, of course, is centred around Warwick and Stanthorpe, the two major centres. We are a prime agricultural, horticultural, livestock centre for Queensland and Australia, and we do a lot of exports. And we identified in March 2017, after ex-tropical cyclone Dobie hit our region, that there wasn't a lot of rain going to follow that, and so we started looking then at how we would manage the drought if we didn't get any rain in summer 18-19, and of course we've had no rain this last summer 2019-20, so we decided we would manage drought in our region as a disaster. So we established a drought disaster management plan. Council appointed a drought coordinator, and we've been really proactive in the way in which we've worked with our community to manage drought.
This is your army background coming out.
Probably, yes, it is. But we also have, our councillors all come from a business background. I think that makes a difference, and we have very professional council staff, very much focused on the community and the financial viability of our region, and focused very much on economic development as well. And you realise then, if you're going to take this proactive approach, you've got to be on the front step. And so one of the things that we've done is do these forums for our residents, drought forums, getting our residents in to understand their needs for drought. And then we've been conducting a series of workshops called 10 Minutes with a Master, where we have 10 different specialists come in and meet one-on-one with our landowners in a confidential environment. Landowners are the proudest people on earth, and they don't want to put their hand up and ask for support, and we call it support here, not assistance, not help, but ask for support. And this has been wonderful for our primary producers to be able to get that support in a private and confidential way, and that's helped our region really manage over this drought.
But you've also proactively managed the water issues, because Stanthorpe's close to having very little water, and well, it already has very little water, but you're managing that months in advance and in years in advance, so you're not waiting for the panic to hit at the last minute. You're avoiding all of that and doing it proactively, educating people, informing them. That's
exactly right. So once again, our last heavy rainfall in our region was March 2017, and we know that our water supplies here last about 3 years, our above ground water supplies for our urban residents. We've got about 3 years of supply, and we ask the question, what if? What if it doesn't rain in December 2018? What if it doesn't rain in December 2019? What are we going to do? And so we started planning there, and we've had a long education program going with our residents. We've also brought in water restrictions very early to make sure that we get our water storages to last beyond that 3 years. And for the northern part of our region, those water storages will last 4 years, and we're using that water to supplement Stanthorpe in the southern part of the region. Of course, the above ground water supply there is due to run out in December, January, a couple of months away, and we've already got funding from the state government to put in place an infrastructure project, and of course water carting to supply Stanthorpe with water.
But you've been working with the state government on that. You raised it and worked with them for quite a while now.
That's right.
The other thing that I really want to celebrate is the Stanthorpe fires recently, because we were driving through on our way from Goondiwindi to Warwick, and we went just on the outskirts of Stanthorpe, and you can see where fires have come right up to houses, and it's just amazing. The effort that must have gone into that was just, it's mind-boggling, the courage but also the skill. And it's very important to not just acknowledge the disaster and the houses that were lost, but to celebrate, as you say, the successes in saving.
The saves, yeah.
But also, your council again has been very businesslike and proactive. You started some of the plans for fighting fires proactively a couple of years ago, and you've got some of the things the measures in place just before the fire started. So if you hadn't done that, it could have been far, far worse and maybe lives lost. So it's remarkable what you've done, Tracy.
Well, I think it comes down to relationships. We have our council has a great relationships with all of our support services, the Queensland Fire and Emergency Service, the SES, the police, the rural fire brigades, just amazing. And we've developed that relationship over years, and that means that we all trust each other. Right. And trust is the important point here. And when we started talking to QFES, Queensland Fire and Emergency Service, at the beginning of this year, saying that we were in drought and we weren't going to have any rain and our above ground storages are exhausted, where are you going to get your water from to fight fires coming into bushfire season? And now the worst bushfire season on record, the worst drought on record, longest periods without rain. So QFIS planned really well. We'd actually done desktop exercises with Stanthorpe being cut off by bushfire, and so that worked well for us in our planning. And then QFIS, when those catastrophic conditions were forecast at the beginning of spring in our region, QFIS pre-positioned a huge water tanker in our region that could resupply about 40 trucks at a time.
Because you recognised some of the tanks would be low.
That's exactly right. People don't have the tanks.
Anticipated that in advance.
Yep, absolutely. People's house tanks are dry because we've had no rain. So we started the program early, saying to people, you're going to have to adjust your fire plan this year, because previous years you might have planned to stay and fight your fire. You won't have the water in your tanks this year. So all of that's been going on for months leading up to this fire season, and QFIS did an amazing job using mechanical techniques to fight the fire. We use fixed-wing aircraft, or they use fixed-wing aircraft rather than helicopters, because there's just not the water in the dams to get the water. So all that planning was done in advance, and it certainly did an amazing job in Stanthorpe in saving lives. We lost no lives. But the other thing that we did in Stanthorpe, the Rural Fire Brigade and Queensland Fire and Emergency Services did cool burning, so burning in winter in the national parks, and that certainly had a big impact in saving Stanthorpe, because that fire, just part of it didn't build the momentum that could have got it into
lost
Stanthorpe.
its intensity.
Yeah.
Well, that's remarkable. And there's something else that I want to share with you. Everyone knows that I start every speech in the Senate with, as a servant to the people of Queensland and Australia. Well, these guys refuse to take any allowance. They're entitled to allowances. I don't want to embarrass you. I want to congratulate you. They refuse to take allowances. All the councillors?
All the councillors.
Refuse to take their allowances that they're entitled to, and they pay for themselves at their own at functions. And so this is government serving the people. And it's saving lives. It
is, but it's also thinking ahead. We knew at the start of this term of council that the tribunal would probably give us a salary increase every year, and so we decided ahead of that we wouldn't take allowances to balance that out. And I think that is thinking ahead.
Wonderful. Lovely meeting you, and thank you very much.
Thanks very much for coming to our region.